Hey everyone, can you guys hear me? I'm just checking if everything is working correctly. I take a second or two before it shows up. Oh, I don't see myself in there. Oh, there I am. Sorry. Hey guys, welcome to the stream. Sometimes takes a bit more time for the image to show up, so I wasn't sure if you could hear me and you could see me. So, welcome to the stream. Can you guys hear me? First of all, I'm asking you in the chat. Um, if you guys are able to hear me, just let me know because it's a brand new setup. As you can see, things have changed a bit around. So I'm just checking if you guys are able to hear me. I see Kim saying yes. Perfect. Then we are ready to go. Great. So yeah, as I was saying, this is a brand new setup. I simply moved my desk to another room, but I also changed my PC, webcam, headset, lots of things. So because of that, that's why the stream is happening today and not last week. So first of all, sorry about that and changing the pattern and the rhythm that you guys are used to. And yeah, I hope that the new setup will work fine. That you guys will be able to benefit from that. I Randu, uh, glad to see you here. I see that the chat uh, is not showing up on the stream, so I'm just gonna recheck if I redefine it. Let's see if it works. Should be a way to do that. So I will just refresh the page and it should be working again. Just a second. Sorry, guys. Just want to make sure you have the experience you're looking for. Is it showing up now or not yet? Not yet. Let me see if I now take this out and change this. Let's see if it will finally show your messages because that's kind of the point, right? There's no real point in having the chat in there if you guys cannot see yourself. Okay, so just gonna also close that. Yeah. Oh, am I a rock star? Yeah, we'll get to talk about that in a second. Just trying to get the about chat to recheck. Okay, yeah. Now the messages are coming in. I will just try to get rid of this. There we go. Okay. I hope that. Okay, the chat is weird. It's showing up in the wrong way, but okay. That's not the biggest deal. That means I will just move it slightly and we'll be ready to go. Let me see if I can just reposition that a little and resize it, and we'll be uh, okay. Why? Oh no, I don't want to put it in too small. Okay, yeah, as messages will come up, it will be better. Let's keep it this way for now. It will be better. Just triggering my OCD right now. If I can move that back in. Come on. Yes. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So sorry guys. That's what happens when you have a brand new setup. Again, welcome to the stream, and we are gonna be talking about quite a few different things coming to the game today. But right now, there was a question about me being a rock star. No, I'm not a rock star, but as some of you might know, I play music in bands, etc. That's kind of my hobby. And since I moved all of uh, my computer set, etc., to a different room, that's the room where I have my guitars. And instead of just moving everything away for now, I said, since the room is empty for now, that will do a decoration and that's definitely me. So yeah, that's basically why you get to see guitars today. I'm not going to be playing for you. Don't worry. You won't have to suffer through this. Okay, so without further ado, let's get starting with the easy fight night. Today, I will be taking absolutely everyone that registered. That's a bit more people than the last time, but since the last streams have been rather short, we should be good to go this one. Okay, and I'm just rechecking the event is live. Yes, everything is fine. We should be able to go for it. Okay, there we go. Let me see. Yes, we have Gustav. We will have the alternate account to Annie Viper. We have Alanor and Ontorium. I don't know why, because it starts with Gustav, so it shows that it's not all the A starting nicknames that gets in the first spots, but there's like three A's in a row. Okay, so yeah, on my side, super happy to get back to you guys after a couple of weeks without streams. Hopefully, this setup should also be a bit faster for the iPad. Um, the desktop I'm using should be reacting a tiny bit faster. So that's what I hope that you will benefit from, but we'll see about this. And yeah, we have plenty to talk about today. Why? Because I can. Wait, I'm gonna close that up. Sorry. Because there's quite a lot of things happening in the game. So, for example, um, as you can see, I'm using a specific skin on the battle wagons that are there. So don't worry, I'm not here to make any uh, weird uh, product placement or whatever. This is simply an exclusive skins that you can get from our own website, the Spellwagon website that we opened a few months back. This is a website on which we are starting to put more and more content, and we are also having exclusive offers there. This includes this skin. Long story short, obviously, the website is called Spellwagon. There's a battle wagon in the game. It simply made sense to try to get an exclusive skin in there. And uh, just for those that don't know much about the website, the reason why we have this website is because it's a community hub, but it's also acting as a way for people to um, make potential purchases in the game in a slightly different way than what Google and Apple offers via their own stores. What happens, to be rather transparent, is that having this external websites available allows us, for example, to have payment methods that are not working with Apple and Google, but are working with the website that we use. It allows us to do packages that Apple and Google don't really allow us to do from the technical standpoint. I won't go into details, but Apple and Google have a lot of restrictions on what they are fine with you putting in your stores within the game. Of course, I'm not talking about like the rules in terms of consumption, protection of the consumer, because then that's yeah, that's all fair and nice. But I'm more talking about the technical limitations. Like for example, you cannot sell more than a certain number of different items without a package, etc. With this website, we have the possibility to do so. And the last thing is that it allows us as well to offer a way to make some purchases into the game for the countries where Apple and Google are not available. That could be because of conflicts, etc. But that's also sometimes simply because the country is so small that they don't have their own Google or Apple store. And the only way to make purchases is to use VPNs or to locate your Google accounts elsewhere. So, yeah, for all of those reasons, that's why we have the website available. Um, Okay, so now that I talked about the Spellwagon and mostly this wagon skin, I mostly wanted to demonstrate it because I think a lot of people don't know that it exists for now. Um, we'll be getting to talk about what's coming into the game and what has been happening into the game lately. The first thing I wanted to bring up there is that in the past few weeks, we've been trying out new events over the weekend. So there was the Gold Extravaganza, um, and uh, we also had an Artifact Extravaganza. There was a lot of mixed feedback about this one. We took it into consideration when it would, if it comes back, we'll change it a little. Uh, but we will have more events like this coming, and I would like to announce right away that this weekend there will be an Eternite extravaganza. So the details about what will come up, what will be the new offers for you to use your Eternite, etc. I'm not going to share those details yet, but I can tell you this weekend Eternite extravaganza coming in, and we won't necessarily have such things running every weekend, but the idea is to have these kind of things running really regularly. So the gold one will come back, the artifact one will come back, probably be changed a little. The Eternite one will come back, and we have other concepts like this that will come because we know that a lot of players have a lot of resources that they don't know how to use, and for the time being, that's an easy way to do this. Uh, just jumping on the questions here, Kim, you were asking, or you're mentioning the Google Apple tax. Yes, that's one thing. I'm not going to lie about it. That's a well-known fact that Google and Apple take big chunk of your income when you are a developer. That's true for us or for any gaming company and actually any app. But it's not the only reason because, in all fairness, the website we use is also coming at a cost, right? So we also have to pay for those transactions, etc. It's not like we have an entire team of people that are only dealing with the technical aspects of the transactions between the servers and the player's account, etc. It goes by a third party as well, and it means that we also have taxes to pay. That's a given. It's true that they might be different from what we have with Google and Apple. It's not the same model, but ultimately, for us, the point is not to shy away from Google and Apple. We will always be there. We will always have great offers there. But having the possibility to offer better deals because the tax, indeed, or the cut that Google and Apple take is not as strong on this website. That's definitely part of it. And as I said, there's also, being able to offer payment platform for countries that cannot access it right now, being able to offer different payment methods. Ultimately, all of that coming together make it a good addition for us on the side. And potentially for the players, it's usually going to be a better deal than what they have in the game. So it's a win-win situation. And on the long run, that will allow us to have things like fidelity programs, where if you make purchases regularly, you have uh, rewards on top, those kind of things, which are a lot harder to do with Apple and Google the way it's set at the moment. Um, Whiter Acker or Wither Acker. I never know how to pronounce that in English. It should be Wither, right? Wither Acker 54. You're asking why sometimes a death match, um, your units stop moving 2 seconds. Uh, Stop moving after the every kill for 2 seconds. Right out of the bat, I would not be able to answer to you without seeing pretty much what is going on in terms of power stones and artifacts that are used. It could be a bug, uh, but without seeing a video, etc., I really don't have enough information on my end to be sure. And also, I don't have enough expertise of all the possible scenarios to know for sure. But if you want, just join us on Discord if you're not there already. Share the details in the back section, and between the player's expertise and the videos or screenshots or whatever information you can provide to us, we will be able to check with the game team as well and get you an answer as to what might be causing this. I think if I remember correctly, we are on the last player, or we just passed the last player. That's perfect. We'll be able to move to the actual um, regular and well normal advanced or advanced hardcore. I never know how I call them. I feel like calling them a different way every week. But we'll move to the other parts of the fight night. Let me just close this and grant you guys all your rewards. My setup was not really great this time around. I really made it super easy. My goal was to demonstrate a bit this new skin because I think it looks cool. And I also, I mean, you know it if you've been in the streams in the past. I love the battle wagon because since you guys are usually way better on the strategy aspect than I am, if at least I can surprise you by doing something that myself I'm not 100% sure how it will turn out, then I'm all good. I'm all happy with this. So in this case, what I mean is, yes, if I'm using if I use the battle wagon, we don't know what unit will come out of this, and that could be at my advantage. It could be a loss. Usually, it will be a loss, but that's one thing I do enjoy. So you're asking me actually what is my favorite unit, and the reason that is one of my favorite units, and that would be the reason. It's precisely because of the unpredictability, which in my case is something that I value a lot. I know it would not be, you know, for most of the top players, it's definitely not something they want. They want to know exactly what they're gonna get. But for somebody that is playing a bit more casually by default as well, because I simply don't have always the time I'd like to spend on all the games that I cover because I'm covering other games as well outside of Battle Legion. That's definitely something I do enjoy there. Okay, so let's go with the rest of the fight night. So we are going with the hardcore advanced mode. Everything is ready, so let's go. And we're starting as expected, so that's good. With Deathly Hallows, we have Juice, we have G1234, we have Tsa, we have Dead Raping Hood, we have Praetor, Gostin, sorry. We have Randu coming in, Fuzzy, Admiral, The Hack, and Ilu, and that should be our first 12, well, yeah, 12 players for the fights. Let me get rid of that riot shipment. Okay, so yeah, as I was saying earlier, this weekend there will be an Eternite event. And then, just to be clear, an Eternite event means you will be able to use your Eternite on newer stuff. So that means maybe better wardrobes, exclusive wardrobes that have content that has never been available for Eternite. Uh, Maybe discount on how much Eternite you need to use to open the wardrobes. That's the kind of thing you can look at. And going forward, we want to have more events like this, but that's not going to be only about the resources. Just because I know that's something players want for a very long time, we are looking at right now having a weekend without artifacts. Not sure yet when that will be possible, and we'll look into this. Okay, guys, can you hear me? Did you lose me for a second, maybe because I heard my headset just turning off for like a second. So I hope you could hear me. In any case, I was saying that we will have this Eternite event, and potentially we're looking at stuffs like a weekend without Eternite. The idea is to do things that will kind of change the path a little for you guys, offer you ways to use your resources, and also ultimately the point is to have things happening in the weekends too, because the weekends have traditionally be rather quiet on Battle Legion, and while we are not planning to have like a weekend where everything happens there and there's nothing else elsewhere, we would love to have the option to make the weekends a tiny bit spicier and more interesting for the players that can play on them. Why Death Knight becomes oh dude becomes a man in a skin when she's a girl. Okay, sorry, I couldn't read well your question because I have a weird emoji that would show up right on your comment. Um, in general, that's something that happens with a ton of units. If you look closely, um, I believe that the world of Battle Legion is a bit gender fluid. We don't have definitive genders attributed to specific units. Um, Most of all because some of them are, simply not any way human or animal even. Between the construct, etc. So we take a lot of freedom with this, and in general, if we see that something would fit, we and it would look good, we kind of go for it. Um, so yeah, we don't give ourselves too many limits as to that. But I admit sometimes it can be a bit surprising for sure. Okay, so we were talking about new events coming in. If you have ideas for smaller events like this, so I'm not talking, big brand new game mode like the global red boss or later on the clan wars, etc. But things like, you know, hey, what about a weekend where I don't know, only these units are available or whatever would come to mind. If you have suggestions like this, just let us know because we're really willing to try out some of those stuffs, and we'll see as well what your feedback is. If we try an event a weekend and you really don't like it, that's fine. It won't come back. And on the other end, if we try something like we did with the gold extravaganza, and we've seen that people used it a lot to level up their units, even if it's not an insane game changer, but it's still valuable. That's definitely something we'll run again. Um, but yeah, that's for the events. And since I was talking about uh, the global red boss, then I guess it's important to mention a bit what's going on there as well. So the global red boss ran for the second time last week, and players were not able to fully defeat the global red boss. So we're still working on tweaking the life, so the life bar and also the number of arts that the global red boss has. It will probably still take us 1, 2, or 3 iterations to get that fully going. It will also still take us a tiny bit of time to get the rewards correctly set. One thing that has not been clear for a lot of people yet is that the rewards will level up. So each time it's exactly like you do in the red, because the community defeats a red boss, you're leveling up potentially your red boss. So if the community altogether is able to defeat the red boss 2 or 3 times, all the rewards will tier up. And if they do it more times, all the rewards will tier up, etc. And when they fail, they will potentially get down ultimately if they keep on failing at reaching it. So that's one thing that will definitely increase the rewards. But we're also looking at adding stuffs because, as you know, on the longer run, we want to have some cosmetics added for the top of the leaderboards. We want to have some more exciting stuffs coming in. So that will happen for sure. Um, Randu, you're asking if there are any artifacts on the way for fear. Uh, Not yet, for the simple reason that right now we do not want to add artifacts before we changed the mechanism behind artifacts. And what I mean by this is the global change of, well, it's not like we're going to change what artifacts do and how they work, etc. But the most likely scenario is that we will add new levels and redistribute the current strength of the artifacts up until those new levels. This way, it would make it more of a long-term goal to be able to reach that. It will allow us to rebalance more drastically some of the artifacts, because some of the artifacts would get really new levels added, like they will get way more efficient than they are by the time they would reach the new max level, when some others will get slightly lower. And the idea is we want that to happen before we can add more artifacts to the pool of artifacts. But we are definitely willing to add new artifacts there. That would definitely be something we can look at. And the other thing we were thinking of, because there was a discussion with that at one point with some players, is that at one point we will reach this year, most likely, 100 units into the game. And first of all, we'll celebrate that. There will be a super fancy unit coming for that. I can tell you that for sure. There will probably be some really nice skins as well. But because there will be 100 units, we are considering different ways we could work with the game having so many units. And one of the ideas was to say, hey, every era or every season, whatever, will have, just like a bit like the Power Stones pool, there would be some units that are not available. For example, for an entire era or for a specific season. Of course, most of the units would be there because we don't want to restrict you to playing with only a few units. But the idea of rotating some of the units would make each era stand out a little more. It would force people to go into different form of meta with every new era, or even potentially every season, depending on how that would work. And if we were to do something like this, it means we could also extend this concept to the artifacts and say, you guys can still uh, upgrade your artifacts, but there will be a season, for example, where one specific artifact is not available. Everyone would be aware in advance, right? So we don't take anyone by surprise, and this would come back and be available. But that's something we are thinking of. I'm not saying it's gonna be something we do, right? Because there's a lot of pros and cons of this situation. But that's something we're considering, because it would be a way for us to keep adding new units, keep adding new artifacts, switch the meta, make sure that pretty much every era is always different and really themed, because you would encourage the units related to the theme of this era and the units that go very well against this, and maybe less the unit that kind of don't fit the theme at all. And same goes for the artifacts and the power stones. So that's one thing we're considering of. The difference with power stones, though, is that of course we will never reset your progression on units or artifacts, right? So that means if you were to have a system like this, if let's say after for one era a specific unit is not available, when it comes back, you will get it back to the level that you upgraded it, and back to uh, you know what you've done in the past. So if you already unlocked 3 slots of this unit, you would still get your 3 slots with level 120 or 130 or whatever you reach there. And it would be the same for artifacts. If we decided, hey, for that very season, these and these artifacts are not working, when they would be back working again, you would find them back at the exact stats that you had, right? That's important to mention. So that's the way it would differ from the power stones that are resetting with every era. So Randu, you were asking why all the myth units have fear resist. Yeah, that's actually something we were discussing with the team actually yesterday, because that's a feedback we've seen. Um, and so that's the feedback we've seen, and the feedback is that indeed there are some conditions that are too much there. The reason why we did this is because um, mythic units usually are not necessarily the most interesting when you do the ratio of their health and strength, and the fact that they only will have like 3 or 4 power stones compared to a common unit that has the same kind of effects, but on which you can have 3 or 4 groups of, and you can multiply those power stones by, etc., place them in different places of the battlefield. So we see a lot of players going less and less for the mythic units, except a few ones that are super popular. And so one of the way we make them popular is by offering them more immunities. But it's true that it reached a point where for some conditions, it seems to be too much, and we will be looking into that for sure. Hey, Joseph, you're saying let's do that for one season, the last one of the whole era. We could, but that's pretty much what the corrupted event is. So, the ground show event that we ran at between Christmas and New Year's, and that we ran again in the last era, it's something that we plan to have for every era now. That the very last week of the very last season of the era, there will be those tweaks to the meta, which is already pointing in that direction. That's where the idea actually came up for us. But the reason why we're looking at doing this for an entire era or something like this, or to do it more drastically, like really having some units not available, etc., is simply because of the number. It's the fact that we cannot have 200 or 300 or 400 units in the game yet, right? There's a point at which it won't make sense for a player to try to level up units if there are so many of them. And also, each unit will be less valuable if there are so many different options available, because that means technically none of them will really have an edge. There will be a perfect counter to every single unit if we keep adding more and more units without ever restricting the pool that you can draw from. So that's why this is one of the options we're looking at. There could be other options. Some other options could be to have a new rarity, level, like having, for example, a unit that you can only have one of in your army. So imagine like a mythic unit, but that only takes 1 army point, but you can only have one of them in your army, for example, or 2 army points, and you can only have one of them, and that's it. Or you could have new rarities where basically it's a unit that will consume a different bar, right? So you could have your army points and have additional army points that are only for that new type of uh, army units. And so you could see those as kind of an army leader, right? So you have to pick your army leader, and that's a new, different type of units, maybe with also some more, some stronger passive or active buffs, etc. The reason why we are not necessarily too sold on that direction is because this would change not only the meta, but it would change also the basic gameplay of the game, potentially a lot more. So we are looking into this to see if that could work. Would this work only for the ranked fight or for all other mods? That's something I don't know yet, and that's the reason why it's not set in stone yet. Like if we go for restriction of units, that would only be for the ranked fights, right? For the other modes, you should be able to use all the available units and artifacts, etc. If we were going for a solution, like I said, where you have a leader, the army leader, that's something you could have for both the ranked fights, but also potentially for the global red boss and the red boss and the bounty hunter and all of that. Uh, there wouldn't necessarily need to be restriction, except maybe for the journey levels, because then that would require us to rework all of the journey levels. But again, there are ways around that, because we could also say that the hero, you only unlock the hero mechanism once you reached level 10, 12, 16, sorry, the rank 16, or once you enter the leagues. So there could be restrictions of that. At the moment, I don't know. It's really up in the air for us to find out, and we also really want to get some feedback from the players as to what they think about it. Would they be interested? Is this something that they want to see? So yeah, that's one of the big things we're looking at right now. Um, it will come a bit further down the road, as you know, but that's something we're looking at indeed. I'm trying to see where we sit. Okay, so we are at 37 players so far. So yeah, roughly a third of where we need to go. That's good. That's good. Okay. Another topic that I wanted to bring up, because that's also something that happened in the game lately. Um, we have just started having those new ads in the game, as you know, so new ad placement. Two of them are already there. There's another one coming either next week or the week after. We're still fine tuning some tests. Well, okay, let's not make any promises, but in the coming weeks, there will be another one coming that will allow you, when you're on this very screen, the victory screen, to double your gold that you just got from the fight. And let's be clear, it will not trigger in auto fights, right? So if you're in auto spin, this will not trigger, so you don't have to worry about it stopping um, your auto spins or whatever. It would only trigger in manual speed from time to time, but it could allow you to double your gold there as well for watching an ad. So that's one that is also coming up soon. And yeah, so the reason why I bring those up is because those ads placements, it's something we still want to improve a bit. Don't worry, it's not like we're going to add 10 more of those, right? Those ones were the main ones we were thinking of and working on for a bit. Uh, but the good thing with the ad placements is that it's usually a win-win situation if, just like this one, they're not enforced, right? So we are not forcing you to watch any of those ads. It's not interrupting your gameplay. It's not something that really is forced to you. Um, and in this case, it's kind of a win-win, because that means someone that doesn't want to watch the ads doesn't have to. And for those that are watching the ads, obviously that contributes a bit to the development of the game. So it's a benefit for um, every single one of us. So that's something we wanted to get in there for sure. Um, Also, one thing to mention with ads is that it's it it's something we're still improving in terms of the ads that you see. So, for example, I know that some people complain about ads that are super long, like 60 seconds ones, etc. This is something we still try to get better at. It's a tricky business because we don't do the work of finding the content to share with you guys right away, right? It's always been third parties that we work with. Yes, guys. Sorry, I heard the headphone turning off again. I think you can still hear me during those time. And what happened is that it simply goes into sleep mode because on my device I don't have any sound coming on right now. Obviously, because I don't want to listen to my own voice at the at the same time, right? So that's probably why it happens. But let me know if you've heard my voice cutting for a little while, and you just let me know in this case because then I know when this is happening, I should turn it up back right away like I did. Um, yeah. So where were we? Yeah, we were talking about the ads. That's mostly what we had in mind with the ads. Is just a win-win situation for us in most cases where the players can benefit from it as well. And the other bit that I wanted to bring up about ads is that we also work on at one point having an option for no ads to show up. And what I mean by this is having a situation where it will be possible for you guys to bypass all of the ads and get the rewards you would get from ads by either either it would be part of a revamped season pass or something like this. But it would be like an option you can subscribe to if you don't want to watch the ads, but you want to get all the rewards from the ads, right? So that's something we're looking at as well. Um, but yeah, that's basically what I wanted to share on that topic. On my end, I don't have a lot more to share. I spoke really fast today and covered a lot of the points I wanted to cover. So yeah, I will be pretty much taking questions now. If you guys have any topic, anything you would like to talk about, then it's pretty much the right time to do so. Also, if you have any feedback on the setup, uh, from what I've and from what I've seen, the chat should be slightly bigger than it was with the setup I used before. The visual definition of the webcam for sure, but also the in-game view should be a bit smoother, and we should also have a better performance overall for the game. So yeah, if you guys have any feedback about this, just let me know. Also, just letting you know, my face will not always be on that side of the screen. It is there right now because with this background, it just looked better when since the logo is on the right to have myself there. Depending on the background I would use, it might jump around a little. But yeah, any feedback you have, I'm more than willing to hear about that and comment on that. So yeah, and as I was saying, you guys have any question, uh, I'm all ears and waiting for you guys to tell me what you'd like to discuss. As always, that means if you have suggestions for the game, there's anything you can think of that you would like to see us try, um, just let us know. We also have a few more changes coming into the game rather soon. So I already told you that for the global red bars, the first things that will come will be rework of the balancing, a bit of the rewards, and on the and also fixing the leaderboard display, which is not an issue per se, but it doesn't make sense the way it currently is displayed. So that will be sorted. On the longer run, the road is quite open as to what we'll do with the global red bars because we can add quite a lot of different features on top of it, like new leaderboards, different leaderboards. Like there were questions and suggestions to add a best try leaderboard. There's this idea to have, of course, a clan leaderboard. There's this option to have achievements within the event. So there are a lot of different things we can look at. Um, we will see what is the most achievable to deliver on the dev side, and also what would you guys be the most interested in. So we are willing to get feedback on that as well, that's for sure. Okay, trying to see if there's anything I forgot that I could share with you as to what's to come. Trying to see. I think one thing that will come for sure and is a big deal still for the game um, are new features, right? So we have a few different new features that will come. One of them being the uh, a system that will allow you to double your rewards, or not necessarily double, but increase all the rewards you get from fighting for a certain duration. So, for example, like for 1 day, for 2 days, for 3 days, we're giving you a way to double up the XP, the gold, and whatever rewards you get during those times. So that's something we are looking at the moment. Um, this is mostly going to be something interesting for newcomers because that will help them catch up faster. But it should be interesting as well for more veteran players, because if you're still, looking at increasing your units level, that will definitely do the job for sure. So that's one thing. As we mentioned earlier, there's still this idea of reworking the artifacts, as I was mentioning earlier, adding new levels to the artifacts, etc. And the other element we are working on at the moment would be the merchant. As you know, that's something we've been promising for a while already to come. That's something that will come most likely. We're looking at the summer, or even potentially slightly after. But I would say it's for now the plan is for the summer to have the merchant, which will be a system for you to use all the stuffs you have too much of and trade it for something else. So the way this would work is that the trader shows up with a certain number of offers for you. If you have some that you are interested in, you can make the exchange. And if you're not interested in any of them, you can wait a certain amount of time and they will change. Or you can basically bypass that using some gems to get directly to set of the next set of offers. So that's one of the things we're looking at. The merchant would probably be an event, so it would not be there 24/7. That's something that would come and buy. So yeah, we're looking at a few different things like this to come in the coming weeks. So yeah, new features, not necessarily big ones, because the next real big feature, as you guys all know, will be the clan wars. That will be our main focus. But the clan wars will come have uh, once we have proven to ourselves that we can get something good running with the global red boss. Once we have things really running well there, we'll be tackling the the clan wars. Sorry, I had struggling to get the words out. So the clan wars will come after that. Obviously, that is gonna be taking a bit of time for clan wars to come. It's a big deal, but yeah, that's mostly what we can look forward for at the moment. Okay, guys, not so much discussion at the moment in the chat, so you're not giving me too much to comment on or react to. And I need your questions because we will be there still for, I would say, probably half an hour. So, I need you guys. I need you guys to ask me questions and let me know what you'd be interested in. Otherwise, I will start to talk about stuff that are not even game related, if that's all I can do. Actually, since to still be talking about the game, We are also looking at, obviously, as you know, adding new skins. That's something that always happens. Uh, but I would like to remind every single one of you that if you have an idea, a concept for new skins, you can let us know. If there's, a wish like, hey, I want this unit to get a new skin because it doesn't have enough, or because you're using this unit and you really want something, or because you had an idea, like, oh, I could really see this unit having that kind of skin, just let us know. Because the way it currently works is that we look at the skins, the units that are the most used, and we look at how many skins they have, right? So we'll alternate and we'll pick up sometimes a unit that is way less used but has really almost no skin, or one or two, and then we'll go to units that are way more popular but might already have quite some more skins, and we try to alternate a bit between those two in order to add skins to the units that don't have enough, but also to add skins to the most popular units, because that's also the ones that are going to be more popular amongst the players as well. So we really have to go this way. But that's something I wanted to bring up again. If you have suggestions like this, just let us know. Also, I'm planning to organize, most likely this month, contest, because we didn't run contests in a very, very long time. So I will run a contest that will run on Facebook, Discord, and the contest will basically be asking you for suggestions of skin units. Um, if you want to draw something or to, you know, come up with something, you can. But ultimately, it's the ID that we will value. The main reason for this is that, nowadays, with all the AI tools, etc., we cannot just say, oh, we're gonna congratulate whatever skin is the best looking that people would come up with, because then, of course, we'll need to use anti-AI tools and it will become very complicated. So the way we do it is we value the ID, because ultimately, even if you want to use an AI to make your ID look a bit cool, you will still need to use a prompt and you will still need to come up with a great ID to start with. So that's what we will be looking at, which would mean if you use no AI and you just tell us, hey, my ID is this unit with this type of skin that would look a bit like this and that, and just describe it with words, you will have just as many chances to win that someone that would use AI or whatever. It's the ID that we would really put forward. Frost Phoenix, for example, is perfect, but the motion uh, is copied, pasted from the Fire one. Try to add more elements like the corrupted Storm Dragon. Yeah, so that's actually something different. It's the animation. Uh, I will be honest with you. Sorry, I will be honest with you on our side. We've always tried when we can to reuse some animations, or to be cautious not to put too much weight on the animations. The simple reason for that is that this is one of the most heavy elements in terms of performance. So when we add a brand new type of animation, and especially if it's super shiny and super cool, etc., it it has more tendency to hurt the performance of the game a bit, in terms of people facing crashes or this kind of thing when they use the skin, if there are too many of those units having it. Of course, with Frost Phoenix it's different, because you will never see, like, 25 different Frost Phoenix on the battlefield, right? But that's one thing we are cautious about. And the other reason is because, um, if we put more emphasis on the animations, we might need to reduce the amount of skins we can release. We kind of need to pick our fights a bit on what we want to release. But that being said, for the one you mentioned, and as you're saying right now, it's a simple change. So that's definitely a feedback I will share with the team. What I wanted to explain is just more in general because that's feedback we get sometimes, like, "Hey, why don't you do a super shiny type um, of animation for X or Y?" And since that's something I never discussed in the live streams, I wanted to share that information. But you're right. For Frost Phoenix, as I was saying, it's not a unit that you will have an insane amount of on the battlefield, so it shouldn't impact performance too much. And in this case, as you said, like doing um, a color change and a basic texture change, that's definitely something we can do. So I will share this feedback with the team, and hopefully we'll get that going. It's also one of those units that I consider really middle of the road in terms of usage. It's like it's not used by a lot of players, but the players that are using it are super dedicated to that unit. So there's definitely some stuff to do there to improve it. So I'm trying to see where we stand. Great in old. Okay. Oh, that was fast. Didn't even have the time to read the name that it was gone. So yeah, we have about yeah we made already uh, 2/3 of the fight night for today. Okay, cool. So yeah, I think you have your answer, Yosef. We'll definitely forward the feedback, and I'm sure there's something we can do there. Any other question? Any other suggestions? Maybe about skins, obviously, but also anything else. If you have if you have suggestions, I'm all ears and willing to discuss and answer those. And you better talk about that because otherwise I will start talking about my guitars or talk about whatever I can talk about to keep the discussion going, right? So let me know what we should talk about. Also, I'm happy to see that today we had 154 people. Well, not really. We had 154 answers to the form. We did not have 154 players because there were some players that were registered twice or registered to the two difficulties, and so we always make sure that you're only registering to one. But that's yeah, that's something that happens. But still, that's a big number of people. That's a bit more than the last time, so that's definitely cool to see. We'll also have to decide, and I will make a poll for the community to decide on when you want to have the next fight night, because we can have it next week, or we and basically if we have it next week, we're back to the cycle that you're used to, or we can have it in 2 weeks and have it 2 weeks from now. I'm fine with either on my end. So it's really something I will check with you guys to tell me um, what you want to do there. Also, I didn't mention it, but since we were talking about the skins earlier, it's not only skins suggestions that we're looking for. If you have suggestions for portraits, for banners, for battlefield, any cosmetic elements that you would be uh, considering, just share it our way. We're always looking for new inspiration, and we have quite a lot of things already planned. So if you suggest something and we want to get it going, probably won't be coming right next week, but that could come. More corrupted and headless horseman skins. I mean, more corrupted skins that should come. The headless horseman in particular, I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, we can definitely look into that. Usually, the way we look at this is a bit based on the era theme and also the time of the year. right? Usually, all the slightly scary. Yeah, sorry. Just again, since I'm not sure if you can hear me when my headset is uh, putting into silent mode, I wanted to make sure and not speak in the meantime. So yeah, the dark, uh, slightly edgier shadow and um, aura based kind of skins, we usually try to keep them or to have a bunch of them coming around the Halloween season, especially. We can have some others, obviously, all through the year. Same for the corrupted ones. But it's true that they fit so well into this season, that season of the year. I mean, that it's one thing we try to put some focus and attention on that for sure. Okay. What else? Any other suggestions? Oh, by the way, we were discussing that the last time we spoke, or was it? Was it the last time we spoke, or was it when we spoke with the team? Anyway, we were talking about potentially having battlefields that would allow for something very different visually. What we're thinking about is especially for global red boss or red bosses, etc. We could have a battlefield that would be like a shore, and you have the sea that would take half of the right side of the screen, and you would have the shore, and that would mean, you can go wild into going in that direction. I know that one of the things they were looking for one of the future global red bosses would have been something like a kraken or something like this, and you could definitely do that if you have a shore kind of battlefield. Of course, that would not necessarily be, well, that would not be a battlefield you can use on your side, because your units would drone. that would not be that would not really be fun. But that's things we're looking at to make the bosses a bit stand out a bit more than they currently do. I mean, they already have dedicated battlefields like the one we've added for um, the global red boss, but they always look like they could technically be also battlefields for you, right? For the players. And yeah, we're trying to see if that could work to have something a bit more unusual and extreme for a boss to fight, for example. So yeah, that's one thing we're looking into. Um, yeah, of course we will have to see, because it couldn't just be a shore, because again, your units, when they will move, it would look weird from the visual standpoint if they're just heading into the water. But you could have some ponds and stuff, and it can be that just the place where the boss is really the water. But that's something we're looking at. So yeah, let's see if they're able to deliver something cool with this. I, for one, would be super excited by something like this. So that's actually the reason why I'm talking about it. Okay, guys, more questions. I see that the six of you are watching right now, so that means there are a few of you that do not want to talk to me. You don't want to tell me what are all the good ideas you have for the game. Let me know. Let me know. Taking where we're at, but should have should have about 20 players left to go. If I just base it on the number of auto skins that we have going. Uh, right time. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, we have 20 players to go. That will go fast. In 10 minutes or something, it will be pretty much all covered. The good news is right now, with the new setups that I have, and with the army setups that we've been picking up lately, etc., we should be able to um, always try to get everyone to play in the fight night and not have the recorded fight night anymore, which I think is a lot better. Like if I can get everyone participate, it's fine. The reason why the recorded fight night took place initially is because we had a lot more players joining the easy fights than we do now, and we also had three levels of difficulty when we did that initially. And so, with the three levels of difficulties, and with a lot more players picking the easy ones rather than the ones where they can really challenge us. I mean, for today, it's not really a challenge because I really went for a super easy army this time around. But because of that, it was taking a lot more time for the fight nights to take place, and that's something I'm super cautious with nowadays. We don't want the fights to run forever, and with this new system, I'm trying to make sure we can get everyone in. I'm not saying it will always be the case, but yeah, whenever we can, we'll do that. I also see less and less people that are registering all of their alternate accounts, etc. By the way, I realized that a lot of people were not aware that we have a draw for the alternate accounts that you put up. I contact the winners by Discord usually, if we have them on Discord, or they receive the rewards in game if they were not on Discord. Uh, but yeah, because of that, there's a lot of players that were confused as to who won. So I will, from now on, from this week on, I will announce who was the winner or the winners if there are several. Lately, there's usually been one because we did not have that many participation. But I will announce it on Discord. I know I had some people asking about this. It makes complete sense. I don't know why I wasn't doing it directly this way. That's definitely something we need to do. Okay, so we have now 13 players left to go. So it's going fast. It's going really fast. Is there any further question? Anything else you want to bring up? Because it's pretty much the end now, you know? If you don't ask now, you'll never ask, or at least, well, you'll ask in a week time or 2 weeks, depending on when we do the next fight night. Most likely, it's gonna be next week. I know you guys. I know that if I ask you if you want something right away or the week after, you will ask for it right away. I know you. That's okay. I'm checking how is everything going. I'm also checking from time to time, relaunching the YouTube chat because sometimes the YouTube chat is not properly updating, which is definitely not great. But yeah, for today it seems to work okay. I take for granted from the discussions we've had so far that the setup is okay, that you can hear me well. I'm not using the same microphone that I used to. It's not a. I'm using directly the one from the headset because so far from what I've seen, it sounds okay. But if you feel like it would sound better with the one I was using before, which was an actual separate phone, separate microphone, just let me know. If you have any feedback about the setup, etc., just let me know again. Most likely by the next time we speak, the decor behind me will be slightly different. You won't be seeing all of the guitars anymore. There's a few things will change there. Maybe my dogs will pop up from time to time, but that's not a bad thing. As they say, if you have a dog on your sofa behind you during the stream, in theory, we should have 200 to 300 more viewers live as soon as they show up. So I'm, I'm I'm basing a lot of the success of the next fight nights on that. So hopefully we'll get there. Okay, guys, we have 10 players to go, and my winning ratio is going slightly back up. That's good. Trying to see if there's anything I didn't mention to you guys. Oh, yeah, one thing I've seen today, I don't know if you've seen it. We started to test not showing as many offers when you open the game. When I opened the game earlier today, there was only one offer. And that's something we'll work on. Not saying that it will always be one offer or anything like this, but there used to be sometimes like 9 or 10 offers, and it's really counterproductive. So we are testing this. It will be tested in the coming days and weeks. With everything like this kind of monetization related, it's always going to be a test, meaning that if for whatever reason we see the results are not good, we can't continue with it. But the goal would be that we only highlight good offers, or the most interesting ones. The other reason is that uh, we do think that it will even help on the performance when launching the game, because the carousel taking a bit more time could on some device not be ideal. So if that can even help a bit on the technical side, then it's a win-win scenario again for us. And for us, it allows us as well to highlight the best offers that we have in the game, which is definitely a good thing, right? Come on, stop eating yourself. That's unfair. Ah, there we go. Yeah, I'm always getting frustrated at the healing options in the game. Not only in this game, actually, in every game, I always have trouble with that. I think it's a small video game trauma from childhood, and I don't remember in which game that was. There was a boss that I was struggling to fight, and once I really managed to get really close to defeating the boss, and it healed itself, and I was like, no, no, no. I wonder if it wasn't the first time I played the really OG Pokemon games, maybe. And basically one trainer was just constantly healing his Pokemon, like in the League of Four or something like this that you fight at the end of the game. Maybe that was it, because I know that they were doing this, but I don't remember ever struggling with a Pokemon game. So that's probably not the one I'm thinking of. I would have to think a bit deeper. But yeah, in general, I don't like eating systems in games, or rather, I like that they are here because I like to use them. I just don't want my opponents to use them. We should have a rule for that. It's only for me as a player and not for other as players. They don't have the right to do that to me. Okay, so I think, right, yeah, Black Hat is our last player, and that should be it. Yep, this will be the last fight for today. Um, as always, I would like to thanks everyone for joining us in this stream. It was a tiny bit bumpy at the beginning to get everything to run and the chat to update properly. I hope that this new setup worked fine. I hope that I was able to give you quite some news about what's coming into the game. And yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Randu. Thank you, everyone that was discussing with us today. And yeah, we'll see you all either next week or the week after. There will be a poll for that on Discord. As I know you, I'm sure we're gonna talk to each other next week. But yeah, let's get the community to vote on that, and see you soon. Thank you again for joining, and have a wonderful day. Bye.